Hello and welcome into our sports podcast. This episode is brought to you by Centera. Fuck! Restart. Uh-huh. Hello and welcome back to our sports podcast. This episode is brought to you by Centera Healthcare. At Centera Healthcare, we improve health every day, and we aim to be the provider of choice for the patients in our communities. I'm saying this to put in good juju that I get hired. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, There's not much football stuff going on, but I'm excited to, just talk about certain teams and how we're feeling about them and stuff like that. Should be fun.
Yeah, football is really kind of going slow right now. There's not much going on. We're on the hangover after the draft. There's not much happening. Everyone's already done their post-draft rankings, and now we're just on the rumor mill. And quickly talk about the first rumor that I want to mention. The Aaron Rodgers whole shebang is what do you have to say about the whole Aaron Rodgers deal? There was a lot of talk about him wanting, the general manager to be kicked out, potentially to be traded. All of this came on. We haven't talked about it yet. So what do you have to say about the Aaron Rodgers situation?
I think it's probably an overreaction based on like when you actually hear Aaron Rodgers talk and like just like with the candor he talks about like almost everything. Um, I just don't think that he is guilty of being a drama queen in the situation.
Yeah, one thing I think is funny is the Packers believe that they can reconcile a relationship with Aaron Rodgers when the man doesn't even have a relationship with his family. So I wonder how that would go. But what were you gonna say?
Oh, I nothing probably important. I just don't really believe the rumors. I think he'll probably most likely be back in Green Bay, and if he's not, then they prepared for it with Jordan Love. So the Broncos, I think, are the best landing spots. I honestly haven't spent too much time thinking about it because I just don't really care about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. It's kind of whatever.
How dare you? That's the MVP, baby.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? All right, so next, I guess. No, I had mentioned the Texans and their quarterback situation. That makes me angry. That whole situation, it just infuriates me because they have five quarterbacks on the roster. I don't know them all, but they're all like, league backups. I think it's like Tyrod Taylor. They drafted one. They have Deshaun Watson. Who is their other? Was it? It wasn't Colt McCoy. Who was all? They have like 20 million quarterbacks on the roster, and it's just like I don't understand why they have so many. And then they drafted one. Like they know they're going to get an early round pick. They have a pick. They'll have their pick of quarterbacks, and like if God forbid they have a good season, then that means Tyrod Taylor did well. So you have something that you can work with. Like I don't understand why they wasted third round pick on someone they actually could help like be a more foundational piece for the team. But like no matter what, they're gonna pick so early, they're probably gonna pick a quarterback. Like sure, maybe they could have maybe they swing and hit on Davis Mills, but I think that's way too high of a risk when you're trying to build a team and you can get a really good player in the third round instead of a player who's probably going to be a league backup for the next couple of years. So I didn't really like that decision by them, and now they're just signing a bunch of quarterbacks to the roster. I'm assuming to compete, but I mean they definitely revamped their team. I don't think they're going to be competitive next year, but I mean maybe they can figure it out. I don't know. The Texans organization is just making so many weird decisions right now. What are your thoughts on it, Christian?
Yeah, as the AFC South representative and someone who relishes in the disarray that is that organization, um, I am. It's kind of concerning. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know who's in charge. Do they have experience? Are they running this as like the pocket GM game that we used to play and just getting rid of random people, especially if they get over the age of 30, they're gone. I don't know what the Texans are doing. Uh, it feels like someone is choosing people by their favorite name or by like random characteristics. It is not quality of play. I'm not sure what's happening, but you know what? It'll be fun for Derrick Henry to go for 300 yards twice a year again.
Yeah, and like I haven't not heard from Mister Two Free Comp Picks. So David Culley's just disappeared. I haven't seen or heard anything from him at all anywhere. So like they talk about
Who's that? Is that their
that's their
head
new head
coach?
coach. Yeah,
I don't even know who he is.
He's the Raven that got hired and he gave us two free comp picks.
Wasn't he
So
like your backup wide receivers coach or something?
he was our passing game coordinator slash assistant head coach, meaning he was responsible for the worst passing attack in the NFL last season.
Oh dear Lord, what are the Texans doing? It's like someone has sabotaged. I think collectively the rest of the AFC South has secretly bought the Houston Texans in an attempt to garner 2 free wins a year. I'm not sure what's happening. It's crazy. I've never seen an organization. I used to think Jacksonville was bad until Bill O'Brien just started. Bill O'Brien was the tiny snowball that created this giant mess that is the current state of the Houston Texans. They have a quarterback on death row in a public stance, basically. They have 18 other quarterbacks. None of them are quality. They have no identity. I can't name you like more than 3 players on their team. I don't know. I can't name the head coach. I don't know who the GM is. Like, who are the Texans? Who?
The only thing I think of as a positive of David Culley is that he was part of the running offense with Lamar Jackson, and he is Tyrod Taylor. But I mean, those are two different beasts. So
Those are
I don't know.
very different beings that you're speaking about
I
there.
know, I know, I know.
People like
But
to give Tyrod Taylor all this credit because he had one good season. That's why he's been a backup every year.
okay, but like, so for the rest of the AFC South, the Colts seem pretty good. I mean, if Wentz figures it out, you're in trouble.
Hate the Colts. Yes, the Colts seem to be very good on paper. For some reason, I'm not sure. I don't have a good feeling about Carson Wentz. I don't think he's who he was anymore. I think he has potential with, having that stalwart offensive line, good defense. Like, the Colts are a pain in my fucking ass because they're just constantly good and they still have $70 million in cap space. So it's all riding on Carson Wentz right now. If he doesn't do it, then they honestly might tank like that one year they did to get Andrew Luck, because the AFC South's just like, it's fucking a shit show other than the 2 teams. Uh,
I think their team is just too good to tank. Like, I think that they have too many like lower round draft picks playing starting roles. Like, I don't think they can tank because all those people have a weird chip on their shoulder.
that is true. They're all very impassioned players. Darius Leonard to be the star of
He's
that
apparently
show,
gonna get
but
paid soon, though. I saw he's getting paid soon.
oh, the Colts might get blown up then because they've drafted really well. If they get blown up by not being able to pay everybody in the next 2 or 3 years, that could come back to haunt them. They could have a Saints deal going on, but
Maybe, but right now their team is pretty much good enough to like go into the season to compete. I'd say maybe. Oh, well, they picked up like a rookie edge rusher. Maybe they could bring back like someone like Justin Houston or something like that, right? But because they have so much cap space, they could front load Leonard's deal. So like they could be like, we'll give you 10 million more guaranteed this year
true.
if you're willing to take a hit these next couple years and get paid less. And obviously if you're gonna offer a player like a lot more, like more than their market value, just to, give yourself cap space in the future, it could be a really good idea if like they're happy with their team.
Yeah. And they have a shit ton of money, and there's a wide receiver on the market right now that unfortunately has a lot of money, and the Colts can really afford, and Julio Jones, who I would like to see traded to the Titans, obviously, because imagine that 1-2 punch of AJ and Julio. But the Colts seem like a really good destination for that, and that pains me to say.
Yeah, and because they're such like good late round drafters, they may feel comfortable shipping off their early round picks.
That's true.
They found a lot of talent pretty decently deep in the draft. So, but speak of the Titans, how you feeling about your Titans? Tell me more.
We really need another wide receiver, man. I think everything else I'm confident on. I think that Dylan Radins is going to turn out and develop and be a good right tackle. I think Caleb Farley could be a stud. I just haven't seen him do anything yet. Um, and I think Elijah Molden is actually going to be a very good rotational piece on the defense as well. But it all comes down to we just need another wide receiver, bro. Like Josh Reynolds ain't going to cut it. Like the depth after Josh Reynolds and AJ Brown is ridiculously bad. You start noticing people who like just worked at Chuck E. Cheese got a tryout and on the roster. It's ridiculous. I think Julio fits in really well. I'm willing to give up a whole lot. If not, we might get one of those wide receivers that are free agents floating around. I think like Kenny Stills and D.D. Westbrook might be names to mention there, but yeah.
D.D. Westbrook. I like the D.D. Westbrook. How much? I'm trying to look up your cap space right now.
We have like 7, I think.
3 million according to
Ooh.
Over the Cap.
Ooh.
3.5 million. You
Yeah,
guys
but
are not in the Julio Jones market.
no, I think we are because we have people that we're willing to get rid of who are getting paid money.
Yeah, you get Taylor Lewan, Saffold,
No,
Ben
we're
Jones.
talking about linebackers.
Uh, I'm just looking at cap savings.
Mm.
And the only three big ones a year offensive linemen would be big cap savings. I don't see your linebackers. Rashad Evans, if you cut him, you don't. There's no cap savings. Uh, I mean, this is over the cap. I mean, I don't know how accurate it
Yeah,
is. It could
yeah.
be a little different.
But I'm also sure that a couple people on offense would restructure deals to get Julio on board.
Yeah,
So
I mean, yeah, that's completely fair.
Derrick Henry
I,
tweeted himself today. The Bleacher Report Gridiron posted a tweet saying, "Who do you want to see Julio go to?" And Derrick Henry quote tweets that with "Tighten the fuck up, baby." And I was like, "Hey, if
hey,
Derrick wants it, if the king requests it, you shall deliver."
I mean, you can't argue with that one. You cannot argue with that one at all. But next, I guess we can talk about the Browns because honestly, I don't like the hype surrounding them at all.
I think it's merited. I really do.
Yeah, was it merited last season?
Yeah, they didn't they go to the AFC Championship game?
No. You would have thought, right? But that way people are talking about them.
Well, I thought they at least were close.
Yeah, they remember Patrick Mahomes got hurt halfway through the game, and then they came back, and it was like a Henny play at the end of the game, and then there was like a minute and a half left for them to drive down the field if they didn't get that fourth down conversion with Henny. But Chad Henny got it, so they got beat by Henny for like half a game. Like they were down by a lot like before that. Before that
Oh,
happened.
they
So
almost beat the Chiefs in the division
divisional,
prior.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And then the Bills went. Yeah.
yeah, and then they beat the crap out of the Steelers, but that's because the Steelers were like not there at the end of the season. Like they were not looking good in terms
Yeah.
of a team. They were
Well,
missing Devin Bush and Bud Dupree on the defense, and then you combine that with the offense that, by the end of the season, the quarterback's tired of throwing the ball every play, and you have receivers that are tired of getting blown up over the middle. Like it just happens that way.
yeah, that's true. And I remember the Titans being on the receiving end of a fucking absolute slaughterfest. It was like 38-7 at halftime playing the Browns. So like,
Oh well, you see, the Ravens never had that problem because
well, it's
we
because
beat
it's
the
an
Browns.
interdivisional game, and those are always close.
Our games?
No.
No, we beat the crap out of them week one, which is fine. And then so one thing that's forgotten about that Monday night football game is by the time the Lamar
Holy
went
shit,
out,
47-42. Is that the poo game?
yeah, that was the poo game, and we were up at halftime, 28-14, or right after half. So it was 21-14. We went to half. We came out, we scored again, and then we got the ball back with a chance to score again. But that's when Lamar started having his cramps or whatever you want to call it, and he left. And then they came back and tied it. And then Lamar came back and made it and like won the game basically.
Shit.
So like that's pretty much what happened. Like so like as soon as Lamar went out, they came pretty much all the way back. So like I'm not like I think the Browns are like kind of overrated and like yeah, they got a bunch of defensive pieces, but like I don't know when like Troy Hill or the Johnson guy became, the best defensive players in the league all of a sudden.
I don't even know who you're referencing. So
That's the two they got Troy Hill and I think John Johnson, and like suddenly like PFF was like, wow, that's such a good thing, and he's a cornerback and he's probably a good cornerback, but like I don't think he's like the greatest thing since sliced bread.
well,
The way
PFF is correct. I'm sorry, but I have to at some point we have to come down to the rudimentary fact that we must base player quality based off of PFF rankings because there is no other qualitative way to do it.
yeah, but they think John Johnson is like the future of the safety position, and I'm
Well,
like,
what
I
if
mean,
he,
that's pretty good.
when they're right, they're going to be laughing at you.
They probably won't listen to this. So that's a good thing about it.
Oh, that's true. Hey, if you're listening, I hope you're doing well. Hit me a text. Say, hey, I was listening to the podcast.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I'll appreciate it.
See who's actually listening.
Yeah, see who's actually listening. Yeah. Who the real ones are. We're about 20-30 minutes in. See who the real ones are. You come to me, oh yeah, watch the podcast. I'm going to ask people if you watched it, and then you're gonna tell me you watched it? I'm like, oh, did you? Did you really?
Okay. Nice. All right. I mean, I can talk about the Ravens then. So again, I think I've talked about the Ravens quite a bit. There's not really anything interesting happen. The best thing we could do is sign a veteran pass rusher just to get some more depth. Besides that, we're fine everywhere. Um, we've had some players change numbers, which I think is kind of fun. Um, but yeah, the only thing with the number changes, I remember saying that I didn't like it. The only thing I don't like about it is gonna be hard to figure out like certain players in certain positions, and like that part like kind of gets on my nerves. But overall, like, I don't really mind it. But yeah, do you have any thoughts on what the Ravens did so far?
No, I saw Marquise went to 5 after 15. And I was gonna comment that yeah, you had previously said you didn't like that. And I was wondering your thoughts on it. But
I'm more concerned like other teams. Like for example, if we're playing the Chargers, right, and like there's a safety linebacker hybrid that's wearing like number 6, I'm gonna be staring at it, being like, what position does this dude play?
well, you'll know because you watch film every day and you know who the player is, so you'll know.
Ooh, I do not watch film every day,
Well,
but
even a casual fan like you, I'm sure will be able to figure out after a week, or
uh,
even like the depth chart will come out and there'll be a name on there, and you'll be like, okay, number
do you check
six
the
is
depth chart?
Jeremiah. Number 6 will be Jeremiah Owusu Koramoah. There's also a name on the back. You'll be able to see that, and you'll be like, oh, okay, I know this player, and he's a safety, or I know this player, he's a linebacker. So you'll be able to tell that, and especially if you're an NFL player.
Like, do you normally look at the other team's roster
No, but
before the
that'll
game?
take me
Oh,
8 seconds to distinguish when I'm watching the game, and it doesn't
I
matter
mean,
if I don't know. But
that's
the
fair.
argument is if NFL players will know, and they prepare for weeks on this shit, and if they can't figure out between a safety and a linebacker, not only on the original look of the player, but of the number, and they haven't figured out, like they're not going to be switching the number every week. It's just this is like the biggest old man shaking his fist at the sky argument from Tom Brady. It's ridiculous. I think
Oh,
he just wants it
you're
on
you're gonna
he
look
just
Tom Brady. I was like, where's he going?
he just wants it on easy mode because he's getting fucking cardiac because he's 98 years old. Um,
I
he,
mean,
he
maybe.
it's this the simplest thing I've ever seen happen in the NFL. That's actually a benefit, and fucking old man Tom getting all pissy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if he says it makes a difference, then I believe him. But for me, my only complaint was again other teams. But I mean, I like the idea. I think it's fun for like linebackers or whatever. I just my only thing was it was like, man, I really wish I would know like if a backup person came in. Like for example, like when Borders came in for your team, I was able to know like, oh, that's a defensive back like immediately, and it wasn't just from like where he lined up because I think you guys were playing dime. So like, I was like, oh, well, like I
Well,
know who
you can
that is.
also take into the fact that he's like 5'11" and 190 pounds, and he's
Yeah,
like, oh, he's probably a defensive back.
yeah, he probably is. But yeah, I mean, it's just there's just an example of that. It's just easy to look at the numbers, but besides that, I don't. Again, it's not like I'm really suffering about it. It was just something that I thought was fun. That we got Joe Flacco's number taken, and now
I
we
think it's good to move on past that.
yeah,
You're in a
Patrick
whole new
Queen.
era with everything.
Oh, yeah. This the future is now, as they say.
You said something about Patrick Queen.
Oh yeah, Patrick Queen changed to 6. We have a 6 and a 5 now on our
Is that what he
team.
was in college?
He was 8, but he can't have 8, obviously, for like
Oh,
very obvious
then
reasons.
why did he go to 6? It's confusing.
I don't know. I have no idea why he went. Maybe he just wanted a low number, and it's like it's kind of funny because it's like the players that are changing their numbers are like they don't have a lot of jerseys to buy back. So so I think that's kind of funny to think about.
Yeah, I'd reckoned that Derrick Henry really thought about changing to 2 until they came out with the rule that you have to buy all the jerseys. Like, yeah, yo, fuck that. I'll wait a year, and they'll
How,
change the rule.
well, I think if you announce it like this year that you're going to change next year, then you don't have to buy back all the jerseys or something like that. Because like you'll be like, I'm changing my number, and then they can start producing the new jerseys. But
Yeah, that's crazy. Cause, but bro, that is such a fucked rule.
have
Like,
any Titans players changed?
I don't believe so. That's
We're
not really
so
that's not
edgy.
really a Vrabel thing to do. To
Mm,
you're like, who the fuck you think you are?
I don't know. A a fun guy, probably like a Kawhi. Oh,
A
you didn't.
Ka-
You know,
Kawhi Leonard,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a fun guy.
fun guy.
Yeah,
Fucking, you see his fucking signature shoe just says it's Times News Roman font. It's
actually.
yes, it's Times News Roman shoes. And this guy, it's hitting the nail on the fucking head with whoever designed that shit for him. It's ridiculous. Hey, hey, hey.
I need to look at that soon. I really do. Who is what is it? What is another team? I mean, the Steelers are kind of dead. The Bengals, eh. I mean, I think they're going to be fine. But the Chiefs, are they going to stay? Do you think they're probably going to win the Super Bowl again?
They're gonna be in contention like always. I think the Chiefs are there for like 3 or 4 years at least until anything like catastrophic happens. I think they're a new somewhat dynasty.
I kind of realize like how not dire their wide receiver situation is, but it's not as good as you'd think.
Yeah, but they all get fucking incredibly open anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like none of these guys would start in any of the teams except for one or two. But their scheme and their play of everyone around them just elevates so crazy that they can just constantly be open and tear up opposing defenses.
Travis Kelsey really opens up that offense, and the
It
thing is,
does.
he's actually kind of old. So like, I kind of wonder like when he's going to retire. Like, I don't know how long tight ends are playing.
Tight
Um,
ends have a fairly good shelf life. Delaney Walker was like 38 or something when we got rid of him, 36.
Kelsey's 31, so that's kind of a dead dream for me.
Yeah,
I was
I
hopeful
think,
though.
yeah, he has, and the way he's playing, he has years on him. Like people are taking care of their bodies more and more. The whole age thing is becoming less of a factor in the NFL with the way players are taking care of themselves and the way that the league is expanding ways to take care of yourself with alternative methods and everything. So
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because that means the talent is gonna get like the talent gaps between teams are gonna get higher and higher. Because like if you get a star on your team that you get on a long contract, and they
yeah,
don't
and you
get
have a
hurt.
quarterback that plays until they're fucking 59 years old too.
Tom Brady's only 46, I think, 43.
Yeah, he's not 45 yet.
And do you think he's gonna stay? Dude, their team is stacked. The Bucks are stacked
Bro,
again.
put Aaron Rodgers on the Bucks, bro.
They already have a better quarterback on the Bucks. What are you talking about?
Well, you can argue better,
I'm,
but I can disprove that by saying MVP, and then I can comment with the mobility of Aaron Rodgers compared to the mobility of Tom Brady.
yeah, and then you
Holy
comment
shit!
Super Bowl and no Super Bowl. Get wrecked. I'm just kidding.
Okay, take the rest of the teams into consideration.
You're right.
The
I
Packers are in a complete state of disarray,
okay. Well,
and
okay. Well, here's the thing. Tom Brady would go like if you switch teams, you have to remember that like five players are going to follow Tom Brady over to the Packers, which I think is hilarious. Is that like he just has like a little entourage that follows him around. He just like attracts good players, and
I
it's
mean,
fantastic.
he wins. You can't disprove it.
Yeah. So would you like the vet minimum? And they're like,
Yeah,
no.
sure.
He's like, do you want the vet minimum with Tom Brady? Be like, yes, absolutely. What do you mean? I will sell out to get a ring. It's just
Here,
it's
would you like twice a vet minimum? Here's a vet min to play with Tom Brady. Okay, yeah.
I'm kind of curious whether the Patriots are going to be able to like turn it around again, like and actually be like competitive this year. I know like they got Mac Jones, but but they have all their other pieces right, and they spent a lot in free agency, right? So like, and this is a like Belichick has to do good this year for his legacy's sake, because if he like goes out and has another year like last year, and Tom Brady has a really good season, and maybe goes to like the NFC Championship or like gets in the playoffs really easily or whatever, that's going to reflect poorly on Belichick. And if there's something about like those sort of people, it's like they care a lot about their legacy.
Yeah, I can imagine Belichick thinks about that all the time. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the Patriots are going to do. I know they spent a lot of money, but for some reason, I feel like the Patriot way is kind of dead. I feel like the Patriot way left with Tom Brady. And I just don't see a rekindling there. I don't think Mac Jones has it. I don't think Cam Newton's going to be great ever again. I think it's just it's kind of like the retirement home, where like people are trying to be active out in the yard and they're just not doing it. And I think that's the Patriots.
Do you think the playoffs are feasible for them?
No. I
No.
think that because the Bills are going to win the playoffs, win their division, without a problem. The Dolphins, I think, are more of a contending team than the Patriots, and that's one of the three wild card teams. And I think you have a guaranteed wild card team from the AFC South and the AFC North. So I think the Patriots, they might be 3 or 4 games off of playoff contention this year.
Mm, maybe 1 second. I remember I sent in one of our group chats my
Oh,
how
your
do I
predictions, yeah.
yeah, my predictions. I'm trying to how do I get to pictures in here? Oh, gallery. Here we go. Here it is. It's kind of messed up because I screwed up the things, but let's see. I had the Ravens, Browns, Colts, Titans, Bills, Chiefs, and Chargers in the playoffs.
So
Um,
many teams.
yeah, so that's on the AFC side. I could see let's see, teams I think would get in that I have off. I had the Dolphins losing 10 games. So I had them 7-10. And I had the Patriots going 10-7, which I think is reasonable for their roster. I think I kind of got in the Chargers hype a little bit when I was making this. I had them going either 12-6 or 12-5 or 11-6. I'm not sure. I think I had them losing their last game. I think they were playing the Raiders and I had them losing, I think. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like the Chargers will probably do pretty well. I because like they carried like 2 years ago they carried what the fuck is it? Philip Rivers to the playoffs in 2018, and they have a lot of those like key pieces. If Derwin James can stay healthy, and then you still have Joey Bosa, you have a good linebacking core, and you still have a decent group of cornerbacks. Not as good as they were, but I mean that's a solid defense. And then you just kind of hope that the offense can. They still have Eckler, and then they had that the one of the other running one other guys that just was a bulldozer. I think it was Malcolm Brown. I'm not sure though. Can't remember.
It was Josh Jackson.
Yeah. So the Chargers will be really interesting. I am interested to see them. And then let's see. So I had the Bears going to the playoffs, but that was under the condition that like Justin Fields actually pans out. I think he will. My one
Well, you
concern
can't
is
have the Patriots winning 10 games and then Justin Fields not panning out. Because when do you think Mac Jones is going to start?
he maybe not the whole season.
Because he's going to. He's a first round draft pick at top 15 on a team that
Yeah,
doesn't have a star like a number one quarterback. He's going to start at some point this year.
I mean maybe I don't he could start. The thing is like I think Cam could secure that role. Like I don't think Cam's completely done. You have to remember like the first 4 games of the season he was playing really well. Then he got COVID, he went out and then he performed piss poor. And like who was his tight end? Who was his wide receivers?
Yeah, that's fair.
So they got him, not great weapons, but okay weapons. And if you can't do something with that, then I could see Mac Jones coming in and then, them falling down. I didn't even have the Patriots getting in the playoffs, but like um but yeah, I mean, I think if Justin Fields does pan out, they go at best 10-7. The Bears. I had them beating the Vikings once, losing the Vikings, and obviously they always get spanked by the Packers. So I had them losing to the Packers. I think, but the Vikings are an interesting team for me because they're kind of good. They just can't seem to get it together on defense right now. And I think with Kirk Cousins as their quarterback, right? He's not going to be the type of quarterback to take like those risks and stuff. And I mean, enter Kellen Mond maybe, but if that's the case, then I'm not seeing them winning a lot of games. I mean, correct me if you see it differently.
No, I know that the Vikings are actually like looking to soon replace their quarterback situation because they said that they were going to draft Justin Fields if he had made it to them at their pick. So the Bears sniped it from them, which might be why they came up. But it's very interesting. The Vikings they want to get a move. They have a couple young good pieces, and Kirk Cousins might be holding them back.
Maybe I think with the way like Kirk Cousins is as a quarterback, right? You can't have you can't have a shitty defense in his play style. Like they just don't mesh very well. If you throw someone like Kirk Cousins on the Bears, that works really well, right? He's going to make smart decisions with the football, and he's going to like be that pocket passer or whatever, and he's going to have good receivers to throw to, right? Now you put him on the Vikings with a crappy defense. I just don't think it's going to turn out as well.
Who's the shitty Ravens quarterback that won a Super Bowl? Trent Dilfer, is that him?
Yeah, Trent Dilfer. I
Yeah.
thought you were about to roast Joe Flacco. I was like,
No.
yo.
No, if you
Yeah.
you give somebody a 2000s Ravens defense, like
Well,
Kirk could win a Super Bowl.
yeah. Well, almost any quarterback could have won a Super Bowl on that
Dude,
team.
Trent Dilfer did, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think even with the Bears defense, like, you have a recipe for success, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like,
Yes.
but the Vikings just don't right now. So I have them still, not doing too hot. I'm actually really excited because the Ravens play the NFC North, right? So I think I'm
Those
hoping
will be
that,
good games.
yeah, those should be. And God, if the Ravens lose to the Bears, I might throw myself off a bridge.
Yeah.
Mike will be unbearable for the rest of the
He
season.
already is. They drafted a rookie quarterback. He started getting the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, where he said the. Never mind. This I don't know if I really want to get into that. Because of their 12-4 record, they definitely have a higher ceiling than the Ravens.
That was
But
only 4 to 5 years ago.
it's terrible. Let's see. Then we have the Bucks. I have them actually the third seed. I had the Packers the 1 seed, and the Rams the 2nd seed because they have your favorite quarterback, a top 10 quarterback, Matthew Stafford.
Mm.
So
He's good. He's very good.
he's top 10, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know
So
who else says that? Everyone on the planet.
you have Matthew Stafford. Hopefully he can explode out there. They also lost quite a few weapons, if my memory serves me right, on defense in in their secondary. I mean, 2 of them went to the Browns. They have Jalen Ramsey still, so their defense should be good. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. I'm sure they took care of their middle of their defense. Didn't they get the really small dude?
Sorry?
They got the Tutu Atwell. Uh,
Uh,
the wide receiver from Louisville, who's like
yeah.
weighs 140 pounds or 49, I think is what he weighed in 149. So I guess he's gonna learn under Deshaun Jackson when Deshaun Jackson inevitably gets hurt in like week 3 or something. So poor guy, he's always hurt. I had the Cowboys winning the division for the East. Now I know the Washington football team probably is in a better situation in terms of their defense, in terms of their special teams, in terms of not their offense, but in terms of their coach. And the reason I have the Cowboys winning it is because of the curse. So, I mean, the Giants could get in there, but see, the Giants were like talking all this crap, but like, I don't.
What curse are you referencing? Sorry.
The curse that no team can repeat. They haven't repeated since 2004.
Oh, in the division, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's like a thing.
Oh, wow.
No team has repeated since 2004. I believe 2004,
That's
maybe
crazy.
2000. But yeah, so no, 2004. Um, so yeah, Washington football team just won it, so therefore they're not making
They
the playoffs
can't
this
win it
year.
again.
Yeah, they can't. I wouldn't put money on it, but I would put a strong fact that they probably won't. I don't know. It's just it's just too strange.
What a volatile division.
They are the best team. Them and the Giants. The only thing with the Giants is they have Daniel Jones. So no matter what happens, they're gonna suck. Daniel
Well,
Jones.
I think the Cowboys and the Redskins are the Washington football team are the best teams.
You think so? You think the Cowboys?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys. I don't really see much of like I don't know why they were bad. I know it was their defense, but like
Coaching.
they can win any game like at any moment. They're explosive.
Well, here's the thing. So like they started out the season. Uh, they lost to the Rams. They should have lost to the Falcons. It was like a stupid onside kick that they like somehow recovered. Like the Falcon players just stared at it. They lost to the Seahawks. They lost to the Browns, right? And then I think it was week 11, or no, not week 11. In October when Dak got it was when Dak got hurt, right? So when Dak got hurt, they were 1-3, and they lost to the Falcons, Seahawks, and Rams and Browns. Now those are okay teams, but like I don't see them like if they can't beat those teams and have they gotten any better? I mean, they have a Dak Prescott who is coming back from a major injury, and so I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll be good. I don't really see like a strong, super strong chance of it. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think the Cowboys are that good, to be honest. I do have them winning the division though. I just think that whole division sucks.
The whole division does suck. I think the Washington football team has. I never said Redskins until today. Now I've said it twice. I think the Washington football team has potential because they're kind of just. They're not terrible really anywhere. They're not like great anywhere. Their defense is going to be really good. I think.
Yeah,
Um,
their defensive line's great.
yeah, I think they're going to be poised to be in a position to draft a really good quarterback
Hmm.
next year, and shoot, maybe even just run it real low for a year. Tanking is working, bro. It's people are doing it and it's working. Get yourself a quarterback next year. Go for it. You'll own the division quickly there.
My counterpoint to that is the Chiefs never tanked. Well, I mean, recently never tanked, and they ended up getting Patrick Mahomes. They were like in the playoffs the year they got Patrick Mahomes, which I think is hilarious.
They lost. Well, the one. Hold on.
Because
I got confused on my year. Fine, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think so. He was drafted in 2017, so it was the 2017 season. I think they did pretty well that season. Because I remember they traded down to number like 10, I want to say.
Uh,
You go ahead.
yes, 10, and Watson was 12.
Yes, which I think is really funny because you know who in 2018, the next year, who was number 10? Do you know? Off the top of your head?
Is that Josh Rosen?
Yes. So I think it's funny that you got Patrick Mahomes at 10 one year and Josh Rosen at 10 the
That's
next.
hysterical. That is
So
ridiculous. What happened to Josh Rosen?
I believe he's in the 49ers.
But like, what happened to him? You know.
He was never really that good.
But how do you get such a good grade and just be that awful? It's crazy.
I don't know.
And quarterback
Um,
at UCLA is such a obvious stage that like you can see if he's actually good or not because you'll have so many eyes on you. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was like the Sam Darnold syndrome where everyone was just so excited about, the good things he did, they like to ignore it and just focus on the good things and not focus on the bad things. I mean,
yeah, that's a bad year for quarterbacks in general. But
2017?
18,
2018.
like the ones that went off early.
Yeah, I mean, Baker was fine and Josh Allen's okay.
When did Josh Allen get? I thought he was later.
He was no, he was I want to say 7. He was top 10 for sure. I
What am
want to say
I?
7 or 8.
What am I confused of? I don't know.
Yeah, so the 3 major quarterbacks went no, 4 quarterbacks went top 10, I'm pretty sure, in the 2018 draft. And then Lamar Jackson went 32. So,
Yeah.
and then for our last group of teams we'll discuss real quick.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Rams I brought up, Seahawks. I just have them winning because I think Russell Wilson just helps them win games. It just kind of is what it is.
That's how it goes.
And the 49ers, I do not have the Cardinals getting in.
Really?
Yeah, I mean they're a retirement
I think
home
that's
right
gonna be
now.
a really good
I
division next year.
all 4 of them could get in realistically, right?
Who's the
Um,
fourth one I'm not thinking of?
49ers, Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals.
They're all four contending teams in my opinion.
Yeah, they could all get in, but I just think like the way it's going to pan out is that one of them's not going to get in. Um, so I mean, you could substitute the Cardinals and the Bears. They both went 10-7 in my thing. But I don't know. I think as much as we want to like crap on Matt Nagy and all the things they do, I mean, they've made the playoffs 2 out of the 3 years he's been a coach. I think. Wait,
He's
2018,
been longer
2019,
than that,
2020.
hasn't he?
No, 3 seasons. 2018 they went. 2019 they missed. Maybe was he there when they drafted Trubisky? I might be confusing that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He's
Um,
been their head coach 2018 to present. So that's 18, 19, and
1920. That's 3 seasons.
I feel like he's been there longer than that. I have
Dude,
to
why did
think.
he went in there with Trubisky, man? He didn't even draft Trubisky. He said whatever. That sucks for him.
Yep.
That's a bad game plan right there. Imagine you're the head coach in 2017. You're like, wow, I just got a rookie quarterback. I'm gonna have some time, to really do great things, and then you just get fired. You're like, whoa, wait, I had a rookie quarterback. What do you? Anyways, a fun little discussion about the teams in the NFL, something to fill the void to all of our listeners. um, but yeah, do you have any closing remarks, thoughts, comments, questions, concerns?
I'm all good. Thank you for listening.